And
see the red dot.
you see the red dot. You
I
know
see
what
the red
that
dot.
means. You see the red dot. There you go. That's what matters. You ready?
Yes. Wasn't sleeping.
All right.
Wasn't sleeping.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, no problem. Then here we go. 3, 2, 1. Fish? Are you sleeping?
What?
Fish, what the hell are you doing? We have a show to do.
Oh, sorry. I was just so tired.
Wake up. Wake up. For God's sakes, don't you dare fall asleep on me, because then I'm going to end up hearing again from that one guy that was completely triggered because last weekend the two of us were yawning. Okay?
I just got to put my head down. I'm just going to put my head down.
No. You pour yourself another cup of APR coffee. Here you go. Here's one. You can't see it because here it is. You're on radio. This is radio. Grab yourself another cup of APR coffee. Eat some coffee drops. I don't care what you have to do, but you are not falling asleep on me, okay?
Oh.
Don't yawn. Don't yawn. You know what? I have the perfect cure for this, all right? Let's go. Come on. I want to see you clapping. Come on, start clapping. Start dancing. Come on, fish. Start singing. Don't fall asleep on me. Come on. No. Wake up. Start singing. Start singing, damn it. Sing.
A truckload.
Keep going.
Keep
going.
What you got?
You have something.
I got something.
Caffeine. Come on.
Don't worry.
Well, don't do that, because then you'll fall asleep. As most men do. And on that happy note, welcome to Room 13. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Rocky with an I, and that over there is trying to wake up, and that's one Mr. Fish. Mr. Fish, are you still awake? You still with me?
I'm still there. I'm here.
Okay, good. We are broadcasting live like we always do from the Desert Air Motel, Casino, Convention Center, RV Park, Little Chapel, soon Mini Mart / souvenir shop? Or is it going to be like a little convenience store? Right? It's a convenience store, like Buc-ee's, but less classy. Right? Something like that?
What's a Buc-ee's?
Buc-ee's is a gas station seen mostly in the southern part of the country. They sell a whole bunch of stuff, and it's a mini mart. It's a great place. It's got the beaver, not our beaver, but
it's got the beaver.
Never mind.
Got a little red light in the window?
No, it doesn't. Oh my gosh.
You said it's got the beaver.
Never mind. Okay. If you want to hear more of this hot mess, make sure that you go to Spreaker, iHeart Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, among many, many, many other podcast pimps. I say providers, but pimps.
Since we're going down the whole little red light kind of thing,
Where's the bell? Who has the bell? I don't know who has the bell.
I did not pack the bell.
Doesn't matter. If you want to continue following our hijinks, you can find us on Facebook. We are Room 13 Radio Show. So like that page, share it, watch the video of the radio show that we're doing right now. So if you want to see our beautiful faces and Fish's beard, you can catch that there. You can also find us on TikTok. That was Mr. Fish's idea, to put us on TikTok. That's your deal. That's not mine. On mojo50.com, as you know, and we're also on Odyssey One. So hello to all of our friends over at Odyssey. Hi, Russ. How's it going? And as you know, we're also on Twitter. You can follow our account at Room13 Show. You can follow me at Rocky with an I. You can follow Mr. Fish at The River Fish.
How did we not get canceled off Odyssey yet?
I don't know.
He said we were funny. I don't understand.
We like to think we're funny.
Yes, we think we're funny.
Should put that on a t-shirt.
I
They
think
like
that's a
to
shirt.
think we're funny. I think that's a shirt.
Hmm.
You know what? Someone did ask me if we had any merch. We don't have any merch. We should work on that.
I have merch, but we have yet to reach out to our art designer to do a Room 13 shirt.
Yes, that's correct. I was supposed to be in charge of that, wasn't I?
Because
I'm a one man, I'm a one woman show. Yes, the Room 13. There you go. Well,
I got the
he's
Room
somewhere.
13 fish shirt.
He's got the fish. There you go. There you go. He has a cool shirt. I don't have that. I don't have a cool shirt. But anyway. So here we are. Mr. Fish, you're out on adventure this time around, huh?
Yeah, I'm on assignment in lovely, exotic Pennsylvania.
I hear that there's going to be some fun things going on in Pennsylvania this weekend.
I hope so because I've already alerted the other show host that I'm pretty close to his hometown without outing exactly where he lives, and hoping that we can, me and Mr. Seraphin can actually hook up sometime this weekend, maybe get a drink or two, have some dinner.
I think that that would be a fabulous idea. Nothing makes me gladder than seeing people that I know get together. Um, it's a great sense of camaraderie and also just getting to know them better. You talk to people through social media and we're Mojo hosts, so we communicate with each other back and forth. And it's almost like a work relationship. You have a working relationship with people, but then when you get to meet them face to face, it's always a great opportunity to just kind of break that wall and make that connection, and seeing people face to face just kind of it's the red bow on that marvelous gift.
Face to face, beard to beard, two jackholes getting together. What kind of trouble could we get into, really?
I don't know, but I have to tell you, Mr. Seraphine's beard is actually quite awesome.
It's Gnome-esque. It's like Papa Smurf Gnome. I mean, just
It
iconically good looking.
That is just a fantastic beard. I appreciate a good beard, and that's a good beard right there.
I'm very happy we have a sponsor.
We do.
Well, kind of. We have a, what's the word I'm looking for? We found a new charity of the month.
Yes, we did. We did find a new charity of the month, and actually, we have a special message from that charity of the month. Let's listen in.
Every day, jackholes are forced to endure the indignity of watching Brad Staggs do the Daily Mojo without pants. But for just $5, you can stop this pain. Please go now to mojo50.com and donate $5 so you too can help put a pair of pants on Brad Staggs and stop this visual from reoccurring.
There we go.
That
There we go.
chokes me up every time I hear it. It really gets me right here. I mean, it could be the heartburn, but I'm pretty sure it's the commercial.
It's probably the heart. It's probably the heartburn, but it's also the commercial. Yes, yes, we're the charity of the month.
It could be the chicken wings, but I'm pretty sure it's the commercial.
Have we reached that stage in our lives where food that we used to eat, you know, 2 months ago and it was perfectly fine now starts giving us agita? Are we at that stage in life?
Water does it to me every once in a while. Yeah.
That has happened to me and it is so weird. I'm like, how does water give me heartburn? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Oh, well, our warranties are starting to wear off. Little things are starting to affect us, differently.
Speaking of warranties, can you
Uh-oh.
believe that today I received, so everybody, I'm sure that every human being, every American, red-blooded American out there has received a spam call about the warranty on your car expiring, right?
Yes, my 12-year-old got one the other day.
Yes. Well, let me tell you that today I got one while I was at work. It was in Spanish. It was a Spanish telemarketer
They got you pegged.
trying to sell me extended car warranty in Spanish. And I'm like, I had seen this phone call come in through my phone a couple of times. And it was a number from Miami. And so the new company that I'm working for, we have offices in Miami, West Palm Beach, Fort Myers, several locations throughout Florida and throughout like the East Coast and in Texas. And I see the number and I'm like, well, I don't remember giving my number to any of the people that work in the Miami office, so I don't know what this is. And they've called like 3 times already. And I already have my phone programmed on silence calls. So if it's a number I don't recognize, it automatically just goes to voicemail. So I pick up the phone call today finally to find out what it is. I do have some family that live down in Miami. I pick up the phone and it's someone trying to sell me extended car warranty in Spanish. I literally hung up the call and I'm like, seriously? In Spanish too? Do I have to do this in Spanish too? Please add me to your do not call list.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that they actually put, they got you in Spanish. I wonder what other language they do that in.
I don't know. I don't know if this happens in other parts of the world, but I would be curious to know. I would be really, really curious to know if the people in Germany or the people in Japan are getting spam calls about their.
You're like doing it in Africa. No,
That's
I don't want to buy the
racist. I don't have the that's racist sounder. I should put that on the wall.
Is it racist or racial? I'm still not. I'm still foggy on that.
I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows the difference.
I go to the Mel Brooks school of is it racial or racist. I usually lean more towards racial.
Probably.
Or Rachel. Depends how big her boobs are.
Hey.
I need a soft place to land. I like pillows.
I'm sure you do. So does every straight man in the world. And notice how I emphasize that it has to be a straight man, because
super straight. Make sure it's super straight.
Super straight, like super straight, super straight. So I have 2 things that I have to talk about. So let's kick it.
Where did Rocky get Fish's new tail, you ask? A retail store. And now, time for Retails with Rocky.
Right. So, because I work in retail, part of customer service skills. Have you worked in retail, Fish? I want to say that you have.
Yes, but I was always on loss prevention side. I never actually had to deal with.
But in the current line of work that you do, working for ride sharing companies, you utilize you utilize like your customer service skills and like your personality to interact with people and try and make people comfortable. And in your case, you're or uncomfortable depending on the situation. But in order for people to give you like better ratings or have people call on you on your services specifically, it helps for you to have like a great personality, be really outgoing and friendly and so on and so forth, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm with you so far.
Yes, you're with me so far. Good. Have you ever had a situation in which a customer has shamelessly flirted with you?
I've been married for 20 years and I would not recognize a woman or a man flirting with me. It's been that long. I've been out of the games this long. I wouldn't freaking.
You mean you wouldn't
it.
notice? You wouldn't notice if a girl was trying to be like super friendly with you?
Nope. Wouldn't recognize as a flirting. I'm like, oh, she was nice. And on my way. It's been pointed out to me like after the fact, like, dude, she was flirting with you. I'm like,
well, because
really?
you're not looking at it, or you're not looking for it. Not that I go looking for it, but here we are. That's why I'm relating this story. So,
oh no,
because I work at the big box store, and as I've said in many shows and many incarnations of my radio personality, I work at a big box store as a cashier. So as a cashier, you've heard on other radio shows that people are like, oh, how's your day? Are you having a good day? I hope that you're having a good day. What are you doing with your day? But that's part of the job that we have to do. We're the last person that you see. Well, no, second to last person you as a customer see before you leave the store. But I've always found that it's easier for you to be friendly to people, because they'll remember your name and they're like, oh, she's fast, she's really nice, she's really friendly. By fast meaning that I check your... I had to clarify. Why do I have to clarify?
Because there's Jack
But
Holes listening.
here
And
we
we
are,
all,
because
we all
because
thought
he's
thought the
saying
same thing.
everybody thought the same thing. Yes.
Here, ready?
That
Here's
I
a
make
test.
sure, yes, that I make sure that I ring up your purchases really quickly and efficiently, right? Right.
Right.
So, what happens when a customer shamelessly flirts with you? Like, really, really shamelessly. Like, really
Define
shamelessly.
define shamelessly.
Like saying, oh, you. My husband's listening. He's gonna be like, you're quitting your job right now.
I didn't put you up to this story. I'm merely
No,
just
but it's
listening and
like
asking particular
it's like
questions.
what do you do other than kind of brush it off and say thank you and move on? Because these are people that I see on a weekly basis. But it's like you're so friendly, you're so nice, you're so pretty, you're so this, you're so that. I don't handle compliments well. For starters, I don't handle compliments well. Not even from my husband, and he can attest to that. I don't handle compliments very well. So to hear it from other people, it kind of makes me uncomfortable. But at the same time, because I work in retail and my job I kind of have that, people expect you to be friendly. You kind of have to like smile and say thank you and pretend that you're totally okay with it. Not that I'm uncomfortable with it because I don't care either way, but I just I don't like being complimented, period. But it's like, what does one do when a customer shamelessly flirts with you and you're like, I'm married. Yeah, but still. I'm like, no, thank you. Thank you, or how I say thank you. I end it with a question mark because that is literally what I'm thinking. Thank you.
So this audio will be played at Batman's trial when they find the dead body of the person that complimented you.
No, because there's a lot of customers that compliment me, and I'm not talking about the female customers.
And you married Batman, who is a well-trained assassin. Let's go with assassin.
Sure.
I mean, knocking off 15 or 20 people is called Tuesday for him. So
Sure.
I don't know. I've been married
Sure.
for so long. The look of defeat on my face tells any female I'm taken. And my wife loves that joke.
I can see why. I can
Yeah,
see why.
it's the bags underneath the eyes, the stress lines, and the look of
That's
defeat.
true. That's true. So I don't know. I sometimes don't know what to do with it other than kind of roll with the punches. I've been working as a cashier for 3 years now. It's been 3 years this past January. And I love the job. I love interacting with people. But sometimes I'm like,
Can we
what
get
do
a
I
shirt?
do with that?
Can we get a shirt that says "My husband's a Marine"?
I'm pretty sure that they sell them.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure that those are sold
I'm
pretty
pretty sure
much anywhere.
he's gonna be making you wear that to work now.
Sorry, boys, I'm taken. That's what the t-shirt's going to say. But anyway,
Sorry, gentlemen. My husband's first words every time he wakes up is "Hoorah!"
I'll leave it at that. Now, do you remember my eyeglass saga from a couple of months ago?
Faintly.
So I finally got the frame, right? I have the
Okay.
frame. I had the lenses put in. The lenses, there's something off with the prescription.
Oh crap.
I went to have my eyes retested just this week, and I come to find out that the prescription was completely wrong. So the reason why I'm not wearing my spiffy glasses is because the prescription was all wrong.
So now wait,
Completely wrong.
Pair Eyewear goofed up on a lot of stuff just to
They
get you
goofed up on a lot of stuff, yes.
and then you went to a second provider to get the lenses done.
Mm-hmm.
So not
So-
Pair Eyewear for once.
No. Now, there's 3 steps here. I went to Target Optical to have my eyes checked. I got my glasses from Pair. And then I had the lenses done at Walmart,
Oy.
right?
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yes. So, fine. I bought the glasses from Pair without the just the frame, You can go with pretty much any eyeglass company. You can go in with any frame, and it could be like a dollar store frame. You can bring it in and they'll put lenses on it. All you have to do is pay for the lenses, or if you have vision insurance, you can pay for that expense through your vision insurance and just have them reimburse it for you. But so Target Optical did my eye test. And apparently they goofed that up royally. Like my prescription looks nothing like my new prescription looks nothing like what my original eye prescription was.
So when you look through the glasses, everything looks more messed up.
It looked like someone had a similar prescription to mine, but not mine.
Oy.
Yeah.
So they're off by a digit or two.
They're off by quite a bit more than that. Quite a bit more than that, which would explain why I couldn't see very well with them.
This would have only been funnier if it was the government that did it. And that would have been an acceptable outcome.
No, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. We're a
I didn't say
non-political. We're a non-political show, but we all know that government loves to mess things up.
The VA. I mean, come on.
Yes, we know that. Now, I know that you probably have some stories because clearly this would not be Room 13 without.
That segment you just can't get enough of. Tales from a Fish starts now.
We again have the wheel of stories because a bunch of crap happened to me this freaking week. There is fish getting racial, and it's the most nice racial story that I could have told. That could have happened to me. We have, was that a dead body from the week previous? We have, help, I'm stuck. And I blinked and my daughter won.
Okay, so we probably have about 4 minutes. Which story can you tell me in 4 minutes?
I could tell any of them in form. Well, except for I blinked and my daughter won.
Okay, so let's start with one of the stories and then we'll share some more on the other side.
So I drive for a ride sharing app on the weekends, or when I ever have time, we'll call that ride sharing company Lyft because it's called Lyft.
Because that's what it's called.
So I went to the mall as I was directed because I turned the little app on. They're like, okay, you have a ride here. Go pick up. And her name was Miracle. Miracle, if you're listening to this show, you can back me up. Her name was Miracle, but there was no picture. There was no picture for me to know what Miracle was. It was this little gray and white icon. This general blasé icon. So I had person's name and no picture, but I had a location and I was good to go. So I went to the location and there's her little yellow icon and I'm looking at the door of the mall. Did I say I was at the mall? I'm at the mall.
Yes, you said you were at the mall.
Lots of people. And there's this person doing the Lyft look down. She's got her cell phone in her hand and she's looking down, she's looking up, she's looking down, she's looking up. And I figured she's looking for me. So I roll down my window and I say, hey, Lyft? And she says, yeah. I'm like, let's go. I failed to ask her name, but I identified her as my person because there was a little yellow person outside the mall and that it was her. So her and her girlfriend with all their shopping bags got in the car. I said, hi, we got everything we need. They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let's go. We got about a half mile from the mall. And I get this little alert across my screen. You have the wrong person. Big red letters. I'm like, oh, shit. Can I say shit on this broadcast? Yeah,
yes, you can.
Okay,
you
good.
just did
Shit.
more than once. So you're good.
3 times now. So I nicely turned to my people behind me. I'm like, ladies? They're like, yes. And I'm like, are any of y'all perhaps named Miracle? They're like, no. And I'm like, then I have the wrong person in the car. I'm like, because I just got an alert that says, I got the wrong soul. I'm like, I have to take y'all back. Oh, okay, because that's weird. And we're driving. I'm like, well, I'm gonna take you back and I'm gonna find your Lyft driver and I'm gonna get my person. And they're like, yeah, we thought it was weird that when you pulled up, it wasn't the car or the color of the car that we were supposed to get into. I'm like, okay, you failed. And she's like, and you look nothing like your picture. And I'm like, well, and it never stopped. The word from my brain to my mouth, it never stopped. And I said, well, I'm like, that is because all us white people look alike. And there was this long beat. And I'm like, oh, man. By the way, for the purpose of the story, the people that I did pick up were, in fact, black. So
That was going to be my question. It's like, of course.
There was this long beat of a second that took forever, and I'm like, please laugh, please laugh, please laugh. And all of a sudden you heard like belly busting laughter from the back from both people. And they're like, oh my God, white people look alike. And I'm like, thank you.
That's the kind of outcome that you want to this story. That's the kind of outcome that you want to this story. We're almost about to hit that break. So honestly, you know what? That's probably the best outcome that you could have. You know, everybody laughs, has a good time, and you're able to rectify your error. All right, kids, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
I
Glad to
couldn't-
see that at least they had the sense of humor to laugh at it, you know,
they
despite
were-
the bit of a pause.
And they were younger too. They're like 25. And I'm like, oh, this is going to go horribly wrong. Son of a. And they started laughing. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Because I was about ready to get fired. I'm like,
Just when you think the joke's going to backfire on you, they laugh.
because
That's
I told the story at dinner that night with the kids and Steffi.
Mhm.
And yeah, my wife's just like, Eric. And I'm like, I honestly
But it's
never.
true.
And there's my daughter's like, Dad, do you not think before you? I'm like, no, of course I don't think before I talk. It just comes out. I just forget.
We wouldn't have Tales from a Fish if you thought before you did stuff.
And there's my youngest. Well, that's racist. I'm like, it's racial. It is not racist.
Not racist.
Racist is something you do with evil intention in your heart.
Mhm.
Racial is just a observation.
It's an observation on race.
And I'm like, and I just did a revert. I'm like, if it was racial against anybody, it was against white folk. And so
Just against
whatever.
me. So, you
It's all
know,
right.
who am I hurting but myself if I'm not talking about, you know, white people looking alike? And I'm
like,
pretty
I
sure
could've
the black, and I'm sure the black people and people from other races will say the same thing about the others. You know, because I make that joke all the time about Spanish people. You know, it's like I get confused by my daughter, my boss's daughter. She's got dark hair, and the texture of her hair is like wavy, curly, like mine. So when I started working there, and people would see the back of my head, they thought that I was my boss's daughter, and I'm like, no, I'm the new person. You know, and then
Oy.
I'm thinking to myself, well, that's because all of us Spanish people look alike, right?
You probably you people probably can't. You people, you probably can't get away with that joke at the office.
I
That's what I
can't.
meant to say. Thank you.
I like that beat. Welcome back to Room 13, everybody. We are so glad that you are still with us because Fish has more stories. It cannot be Room 13 without at least another Fish story. How about you? Which story was the one that was left over from last week?
Was that a dead body?
The dead body one. I'm dying to hear this one because I haven't heard this one.
So for the update for everybody that wants to know, I successfully had my surgery. Surgery went well. Did not, if you paid attention to the story 2 weeks ago, they put a catheter in me. And I discovered that when I woke up out of anesthesia, this tube coming out of my tube. So swallow that coffee, Rocky. Swallow the coffee. So much to my dismay, because no one told me a catheter was going there.
Mhm.
So, you know, I did the whole thing of, you know, hey, don't do any heavy lifting, don't work out, no exercise, no overstimulation, no nothing like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll stop at that point. So
You get
I
the
got-
idea, gentlemen. You get the idea, listeners.
you know, hydrate, keep up the fluids, relax, get back. You got to heal up. You know, you just had a hole through your kidney and blah, blah, blah. So a week went by and I had my checkup with the doctor. And they did a whole CT scan, making sure my kidneys look good, make sure everything looks good, blah, blah, blah. And there's no more kidney stones.
Mhm.
Everything's out. It looks great. And they're like, and so the doctor's walking me out. He's like, so we're going to reschedule you for tomorrow. And I'm like, why are we rescheduling me for tomorrow? And we're going up and down halls. There's people everywhere. And it's a huge office. And he's like, we got the last procedure to take care of. We got to get that out of you. I'm like, get what out of me? Everything's already out of me. What is left in me? He's like, Mr. Fish, we have to get the stent out of you. I'm like, and I grabbed him by the shoulder. I'm like, Doc, where is there a stent? Now, if you don't know what a stent is a plastic meshy kind of thing to help open up arteries to make them wider, or in my case, the urethra, or in my case, the urethra from the tip of my tube into my kidney and into my bladder. It's a long mesh tube that no one freaking told me was in there. So he's like, yeah, we put a stent in you during surgery, make sure you can pass through the stones. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, how are we doing this? He's like, oh, you come in tomorrow. He's like, well, yank it right out. He said, yank it right out. And I'm like, with no painkiller? He's like, no, you don't need it. He's like, we're just going to yank it right out. No big deal. He's like, you drop your pants, we go in there and we take it out and you're good to go. At the same point that he starts going into detail about how this would work, from down the hallway, see, I can multitask with a lot of different things. I can hear somebody and I can see what's going on, and things start appearing in the hallway. And what I see down the hallway is two gentlemen in full black jumpsuits, and they're coming out of the elevator. I'm sorry, they're coming out of a doorway, and they're pushing a gurney. And on the gurney is a body-like form with a quilt over the top from head to toe. The whole body is covered, and they're wheeling it down the hallway past me as he's going into detail about the stent that he's going to yank out of me that I didn't even know was there. And all I can think was, oh my God, that's a dead body. Oh, please don't tell me they took a stent out of it. I don't want to die like this.
I'm too young to die.
And it went down the elevator, and there it went, and no one paid attention to it. I'm like, did no one else see the dead body? And I went home and I panicked. I'm like, I'm telling my wife this whole story. I'm like, A, I'm like, they're going to take a stent out of me. B, I think I just saw a dead body. C, it's a urology lab. I'm like, why was there a dead body in a urology lab? Do you see my panic?
What kind of operation are they running in that office?
I don't know. And that's why I was trying to think.
Is it a urologist / morgue?
It's blank New York urology. That's all they do. They do pee stuff. That's all they do. Pee and kidneys and pee and kidneys. That's all they do. They do.
So they specialize in.
And yeah, that's their specialty. Your junk. They're very good at it. And they wheeled this body out, and I'm like, all that's in this place is just urology. Why is there a dead body? And you can see definitely a head body. You can see nose, head, drops, chest, boobs, flat, feet. So I'm like, it's a dead body. I identified dead body, but I want to know why there was a dead body. But no one reacted to it. Absolutely nobody. It just parted the ways. And I'm like, are we all seeing the dead body? We could see this, right? Y'all could see. And
Are you sure that you weren't hallucinating?
yes, because I hadn't been on the painkillers for more than 3 days. I was good. So I was completely straight, but I panicked. I'm like, So the sent out the next day, by the way. That was fun.
Was it similar to when they took the catheter out?
Kinda. It was long. It was about long. It was about a little more than a foot, and this long plastic thing. And they didn't numb me up. It was 1, 2, and whee! And they yanked that out of me, and I felt every single inch that he did it. And it was a he. And now I guess I'm gay because 2 people touched my wee-wee, and they weren't women. They were guys. I didn't enjoy it. The nurse I made very uncomfortable.
You didn't enjoy it, so that automatically makes you not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, Andy Dufresne was with a bunch of guys, and he didn't enjoy it, and he's not gay. So, yeah, the young nurse who was still in college that was prepping me, we got in the room together. He's like, "Okay, drop your pants," and I'm like, and I said it out loud. I'm like, "Well, that's a phrase I've never heard from a guy." And after that, like, gloves were off. He's like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun," and we had a lot of fun. You know, he's like, "Drop your pants," and I'm like, and I'm trying to get my pants out, from my ankles, and he's like, No. He's like, "They're fine at your ankles." He's like, "This won't take long." And I'm like, "That's what he said." And he's like, "Just scoot yourself up there on the table." He's like, "I'm gonna prep you up," and he put this paper thing with a hole in the middle, and I'm like, I felt like some kind of weird, carnival ride kind of
No
name thing. I'm like, we're gonna do a ring toss. I'm like, what are we doing? We put a ring around my stuff, and I'm like, this is the weirdest. Doctor came in and he's like, hey, Mr. Fish, how are you today? I'm like, I'm naked in front of two guys. How do you think I am?
Not emasculating at all.
No. And I'm like, and you're going to pull something out of something that should not have anything in it. I'm like, not good. I mean, I grip that pillow. I'm laying there and he's like, ready, 1, 2. And I'm like gripping the pillow behind my head.
No.
He got it out. And
oh boy.
he messed up actually, the most disgusting part of the story that my kids thought was hilarious when I told the joke, because all my girls are they're all teenagers, except for the 12-year-old, but she's right there. So I got the 12, the 14, and the almost 17-year-old. And because there was some rough stuff against some very tender stuff, there was a lot of blood. I had blood all over the outside of my pants about the zipper. It looked like I had my period. And my daughters thought that was the most hilarious visual. When I walked in the house, they're like, what happened to you? And my first daughter came right out of her mouth. She's like, did you have your period? And I'm like, yeah, let's go with that.
They're definitely your daughters then. They're definitely Jack Hulse in the making, that's for sure. But let's lighten up the mood a little bit, because
let's actually do some funny stuff.
I stumbled upon a mom joke.
Oh dear God.
Yes. And this one
You're way too proud of yourself.
This one hit close to home because I hit close to home because here it goes. So, how many optometrists does it take to change a light bulb? 1 or 2? 2 or 3? 1 or 3? Get it?
Yes, I get it. Thanks. Oh, you're way too proud of yourself.
Just like that. Just like that. I know. It's really... It's that kind of joke. But we have more from all of our other friends. So here is a dad joke from our very good friend.
Don't do it.
Wait.
We have to do the ad read.
Oh, that's right. Before we continue, these dad jokes are brought to you by American Pride Roasters Coffee. They make terrible hats. They make awful soap and the worst burritos, but they make the best coffee. Hamilton Burr Hamilton in
Very
here.
Nice.
Go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Get yourself some coffee. Support our good friends. They are the official sponsor of Room 13. Official.
Next week.
We need a badge or something.
Next week, we're doing our coffee drop taste test.
Yes.
Because mine did not yet arrive. It should be probably, I think, at my mailbox tomorrow. So
I have my coffee drops ready to go. I've got my mint coffee drops ready to go. So are we thinking about Wednesday? Are we aiming at Wednesday?
Wednesday or Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Just because it's the middle of the week.
Are we
and our show airs on Saturday.
Are we gonna do room service? Is this gonna be
yes, we're gonna do no, not room service, housekeeping. Room 13 housekeeping. Or room service, either of the two. It'll be interchangeable. People know.
So which listeners thought they were funny?
What?
Which listeners? Who called in with dad jokes?
Oh, yes. Here we go. Dad jokes. You lost my train of thought there. It's early in the morning. We've been up since too early. Anyway, so here is one producer extraordinaire, Chris Brannon, with his dad joke.
Okay, so I've always had a fear of heights, and I was chatting with my psychologist the other day, and I told him that, I'm just kind of scared of tall buildings. And he said, well, don't really worry about all that. It's just an apartment complex. You're welcome. Okay, bye.
Damn.
It's just an apartment complex.
I may or may not steal that one, but
that one's really good. That one's really good. Yes.
It's a thinking joke.
Yes, it is. Here is one from our friend Knights who say nee.
This is the Knights who say nee with another dad joke. Did you hear about the mathematician who was afraid of negative numbers? Turns out he'd stop at nothing to avoid them.
Oh. So we're going with thinking jokes this week. That's 2 in a row that you really got to just
yes.
huh? I get. Oh, yeah.
Well, here's one that you're really going to enjoy.
This is Peter Serafine, host of the Liberty Lighthouse on Mojo 50 Radio, Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, with the anatomy of a dad joke. So, when does a joke become a dad joke? Well, when the punchline becomes apparent.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Son of a- How did they? Okay, here's my question. These are 3 random people, all of which, well, Chris and Peter are friends together. I'm not sure about Knights. How did they all end up doing flippin' thinking dad jokes without any
Because they don't have to necessarily be corny, though. A joke is a joke. And I appreciate all jokes. Clean jokes, dirty jokes, thinking man jokes, and just silly, even the basic knock knock joke.
but without
No.
any
Joke is a joke.
provoking from us. They all had thinking jokes this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm
That's
still
a good
kind of
deal.
curious. I almost want to know what Knights Who Say Nee looks like, because he has a really good radio voice,
Yes,
got
he
that nice
does.
bass to it. And
Yes.
I fear that he looks a lot like Stealth Jackhole, like he's a midget, and I don't want to have that.
Stealth
vision.
Jackal is not a midget. She's just very short. Oh, jeez. Are we expecting a call from someone asking us to extend the warranty of our vehicle? All right.
No.
All right, here we go. Give me one sec. Hello, room 13. Oh, hey, it's the emotional meatball Rocky Stucci. How are you liking Texas so far? Oh, yeah, it's better than it was last week. You have great timing. You don't have to wear masks anymore. Good on you. Oh, you're calling because you have a dad joke. Okay, perfect. Well, give it to me. Oh, no, I didn't hear about the Italian chef that choked on a meatball. That's so sad. How's he doing right now? Oh, he passed away.
Oh, for crap's sake.
No, yeah, I got it. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I know.
Hey, thanks for calling. Next time, why don't you visit the city? Make sure you pop in to see us. Our door is always open. Bye.
Hmm. Oh,
And this is why we have to change our number.
yeah, we got to change it. You know what? We'll start giving out Oni's number as our number. I think that's the plan.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. So, you want to get into some of our stories for the week?
Yes, let's do news.
Do you want to start because you have more than one?
I always have more than one.
Yes, you do.
This one I definitely want to do. There's one on here that I really want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, be careful what you put in your mouth. Be careful what you put in your mouth. So,
You're talking to jackholes. I'm afraid. You know what? No, I'm going to leave it there.
do you want to have some fun with the jackals?
We always have fun with the jackholes. That's why we're here.
Ready? Don't respond to what I'm about to say. We're just going to keep going after this one little word.
Okay.
And we're going to get more complaints and more emails and more phone calls with 2 little words.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
New Hampshire.
New
They're
Hampshire?
killing them. Oh, come on.
I can't do it. I can't not do it.
All right. Black markets are a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, they can help people living under oppressive regimes to buy even the basic necessities of life. On the other, they are often trade routes for illegal and otherwise shady goods. That also means that many times the thing you get is not what you thought you were buying. And that's just the case here in India and potentially elsewhere in Asia. Severed penises of endangered monitor lizards are being sold as mystical roots from the Himalayas. The root, is known as a hatha jodi, which translates roughly to a pair of palms, which I won't do that joke. The name stemmed from the appearance of the 2-pronged lizard penis. Oh, well, that explains it. Unscrupulous traders, most would-be astrologers, sell the penis root for $14 to $40 a pop. Their target market are superstitious locals who often anoint their purchase with a vermilion and keep it on their home altar. According to the local beliefs, this miracle plant root will bring its owner fortune and material wealth. It can supposedly help win lawsuits and even attract romantic partners. No, I don't think it does. Of course, the penises don't do any of that. Even if there was a mystical plant with all these plant powers, these people wouldn't benefit from it at all. They unknowingly bought a cut-off lizard dong. So Jewish lizards apparently in India got a little choppy to the pee, and they're selling it as mystical roots. Do you really want me to go on with this story? Because you're looking at me like we've had this discussion in prep.
No, yes. Keep going.
Unfortunately for the monitor lizards, what's more unfortunate than this? They just lost their manhood. Their
They can't have more lizards.
That's not even that. They can't do the helicopter thing. Penises.
Kickstand.
I didn't know you knew that joke. Their penises get unwanted attention. What's unwanted attention to a penis? I always want attention from my penis. From more, that's a waste of APR coffee. I think you just spit it out.
No.
Did you swallow?
I'm a lady. I don't talk about those things.
Their penises get unwanted attention from more than just magical trinket salesmen, according to Jose Luis, head of the Wildlife Crime Control Division of Wildlife Trust of India.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, put that on a business card. There is a whole poaching industry centered around these endangered lizards. What penises aren't sold off as withered roots, withered roots, that's old men lizard penises, are instead peddled off as an aphrodisiac. The poachers either boil them like other meat or dry them and grind them. Well, that's what lizards were doing before they got them cut off, into powder for later consumption. I love this story. It just keeps on giving. But it's not just the lizard sex organs and the poachers are even after. Every part of the reptiles can be exchanged for money. The lizard meat is sought after delicacy. Many restaurants along Indian highways reportedly purchase this illegal bushmeat at a whopping $20 per pound. It's so popular.
It's $20 famous downtown.
Even in India, Doc would love this. It's so popular that when the restaurants can't get the actual meat, they resort to using substitutes. An anonymous informant in the lizard trade told Vice that some eateries sell cooked cattle tails as monitor lizard meat. Again, people, I go back to my title of the stories. Be careful what you put in your mouth. This has been my most favorite story I've done in the last 6 months.
Well,
it's been 6 months. I can't believe that either. I'm surprised you haven't divorced me yet.
Well, in these types of countries, this is part of their culture, because wasn't the same thing happening to elephants, that people were killing elephants because the ivory and the tusks, you could grind it to a powder and it could be like an aphrodisiac, and they would always say, like, in different parts of the world, like a certain animal is just,
You're thinking of rhinos.
Well, rhinos and elephants, whatever. It's like there's people out there that this is what they do, this is what they believe, because it's in their culture that this is, kill a specific animal or eat the meat of a specific animal and you'll go on for days. It's like there's a reason why the pill commercial says that if you're continuing suffering from the effects of the medication that you're taking for a period longer than 4 hours, you should call a doctor. It's because you're going to cause permanent damage. So I don't think that eating the ding-a-ling of this poor lizard is going to do you much good. How about you maybe talk to your lady a little bit?
let's circle back to your previous statement where you said if you are suffering the effects after a few hours,
Mm-hmm.
to seek medical treatment. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I'd ever be suffering that effect. That sounds like I'd be enjoying it, and that's a great side effect.
Uh,
If after 4 hours,
this
he's
is
still
a
standing at
morning
attention-
show. This is a morning show. And this is a family show.
Oh,
this is a
no longer
conversation.
family show.
This is a conversation that we would have to have. Perhaps we can continue the conversation during our housekeeping episode later this week.
Wednesday
Wednesday.
on Facebook.
Fingers
Wednesday on
crossed, Wednesday on Facebook. So we'll probably do a Facebook Live through our Facebook page. I still have to figure how that works, but hopefully it works out perfectly. But continuing in the story about
Do you have a penis story?
well, it's not necessarily a penis story, but it does have to do with sausages.
Oh, okay. I like sausage.
Yes.
Oh,
so
don't. Never mind. I didn't say that. Don't record that. That's gonna be replayed on Off Track. That's unfortunate.
someone I know exactly who is going to take that and he's going to make an audio clip out of it. And that is one Amtrak, Kinsey Richards.
Oh,
He
shit,
is
that was
going
the
to
person I was
take
thinking
that.
about.
He is going to take that and he is going to put that on his Tin Can Radio show. So
If you're not, Tin
be
Can
aware.
Radio.
Yes.
If you want to enjoy Mojo 50 and you're not sure what shows you want to check out, go find Tin Can Radio. It's on Spreaker. He reviews all the shows. and he gives you a little
All the
snap.
shows. All the shows. So if you missed something, or like me, for example, because I'm working on a new job, I'm trying to be on the straight and narrow, very productive. I miss a lot of the shows, but I get to play catch up by listening to Tin Can Radio. So listen to it. You can find it on Spreaker, Tin Can Radio program. So continuing, I do have a story about sausages. And the headline from the Daily Mail, UK. Worst possible outcome. German burglary case is... Oh, that came out wrong. I can't do a German accent.
No, that was pretty good.
German burglary case is solved using DNA from half-eaten sausage left at the scene in 2012. But red tape means crook will be let off.
Okay, someone's getting off.
Okay. German police say that they have solved a 9-year-old burglary using DNA found on a half-eaten sausage. Officers in the western town of Schwelm, it's a real name, said that the DNA on the food matched that of a man detained in France over an unrelated crime. It was a 30-year-old Albanian man who had taken a bite off of a sausage which belonged to the victim, police said. The break-in took place in March of
He used too
2012.
much teeth. I know.
Yes,
No.
apparently it left a mark. It did. The break-in took place in March 2012, and the detectives had been stumped for years over the mystery sausage bandit. It wasn't clear what type of sausage, known in Germany as Wurst, the burglar had nibbled. The police said it was a hard variety.
Did you not
We
read
are in a family show after all.
Hide your kids, people. Hide your kids.
How'd your kids? All right. We're almost out of time, so let me finish up the story. Investigators were recently alerted that French police had taken a matching DNA sample. So a man was arrested in France over an unrelated violent crime, but the Schwelm police said the suspect remains free, and in the worst case, he may escape punishment. The statute of limitations on the burglary has expired, meaning he likely will not be extradited to Germany. So there we go. They were able to solve the case, but they solved it a little too late. And so this man will continue enjoying sausages for the rest of his life.
Well, if he was imprisoned, he could have been enjoying sausages there too. Come on, you thought of it too. You
There
thought of
would
it.
have been no shortage of sausages.
No, I'm pretty sure
How did we find these stories and they just kind of lined up?
it's been the weirdest show where we had the dad jokes and they were all thinking dad jokes. And then unrelated to that, we both came up with sausage stories.
Sausage
some
stories.
Form or another.
I don't even know. I don't even know how we do it. It's magic. It's magic, I tell you. We probably have about a minute and a half left. So I was talking recently to one whiskey, Sean from Off Track Syndicate, and he says he is dying to shave his beard off.
Oh, no. April 11th, brother.
And
April 11th.
yes, I am here to remind you that there still is a beard competition between one Mojo Riverfish and one Sean from Off Track Syndicate, which you can hear tomorrow from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The boys have a beard growing competition, and the winner will receive a bottle of America's best whiskey, Redneck Riviera.
And actually, this beard that I'm growing right now might get me on a movie. If you didn't see on Twitter, I put my application in to be a background actor and actor in a Paramount Pictures picture. And I'll be taping in the Buffalo area, and it's about the Amish folk. So apparently I have the look.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. What is Zebediah? I'm going to call you Zebediah Fish. All right, folks, that is all that we have for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Fish, say goodnight.
New Hampshire.
Go back to bed. Hezekiah J. Fish.
We're gonna get in trouble for that show. It was a good show.
We
We're just
haven't
gonna get
gotten in trouble. We haven't. Have we really gotten in trouble? I don't think we've ever really gotten in trouble per se. So the
No,
first time for everything.
They keep encouraging us to do shit. I'm baffled. And then we got picked up by another network, and I'm like, seriously? 2 networks like us?
If people like the content enough, I am all too happy to make with the yuck yucks.
I'm just surprised. I'm still baffled by Odyssey coming up and saying, "Hey, we want to play you guys too." It's like,
You guys are funny. Really?
yeah,
That says most of the time. Really? Okay.
yeah.
Sure.
I'm like,
Eh.
if you think so,
If you
listening to the
say
right
so.
show? I don't think you're listening to the right show.
Like me when someone compliments me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's basically comes to that.
Like, are you sure? Are you
You're
sure
so-
you're listening to the same thing that I'm listening to? Because I'm like, thank you.
I've gotten the same one of the whole, you're so smart when you talk politics. Really? Are you? No.
Now, that is something that I have a problem with at the new job. So this is the after show. And I said I wasn't going to do an after show because we both have to be up at the crack of dawn. But because the company is owned by a conservative Christian family, I know that I can speak my mind about politics freely because everybody pretty much agrees. We're all simpatico with our beliefs, which is great. But at the same time, it's like I do have to mind what I say because I'm still in that probationary period. Actually, yesterday was my halfway point of my 90-day probation period. So I'm 46 days in as of
No.
today.
Do you hear the song in your head?
What?
Whoa,
song?
you're halfway there. Whoa, you're living on a prayer. Never liked him.
He's a douche canoe, like
He's not
most singers are. Is he not
He's not
allowed to
allowed
be
to-
heard in the fishbowl?
No, in Buffalo. He's banned in Buffalo.
Really?
Oh,
Did he
yes.
have a restaurant? Was it in Buffalo, the restaurant? Or no, was it in Jersey? He's from Jersey. Never mind.
He's
He
from
had a
Jersey.
restaurant. He had the restaurant where like people could go in and pay whatever they wanted, and the restaurant lasted for like 2 years because that business plan doesn't work, John.
No.
People
He,
like free shit.
He tried to buy the Buffalo Bills a couple years ago before they were purchased by the Pagula family. And then all the ties to his business partners in the purchase were from Toronto. So people connected the dots.
Mhm.
They're going to buy the Bills and then move them to Toronto because we were already playing one home game a year in Toronto. And, I'm like, and there it goes.
Yes.
So the fan base in mass went against them, and every restaurant and bar in the Western New York area took any Bon Jovi song off the jukebox. You couldn't play it. Like it was the radio stations. They
Mhm.
if they touched it, they got just harassed unmercilessly. It was bad. It was fun.
I
It was actually a lot of fun.
can't say I blame them. You know, it's. I want to say that the good thing about freedom of speech is that yes, you can say anything you want, but then what happens to your opinion of that person once they speak their minds, and they don't necessarily line up. Like there are some people, I guess, even like when my husband and I are talking about like actors and performers and musicians and comedians and this, that, and the other, we're like, this person's talented, funny, great actor, blah, 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 but their politics, it's like, but their politics, man. It's, how do you deal with battling that. Like it's such an odd dichotomy of, they're great at their craft, but
Yeah, there's been a couple people like within the last couple of months that I've
Mhm.
liked, and I'm like, oh, this is great, love their stuff, and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden they open their
Then
mouth
you find
politically. I'm
out and
like,
you're like,
oh shit. I'm like,
I
I
know.
liked you, and now I can't give you my money because I
Hmm.
can't consciously give you my money because I know where my money's now going to
Knowing
go.
exactly.
So it's like,
No.
no.
And because we're not doing the show on the radio at the moment, we can discuss a little bit of politics now. But a lot of times, especially in the environment that we live in now, where we're so we're so divided as a country, where while people on our side tend to be more tolerant and we're open to actually speaking openly to people and welcoming conversation, the people on the other side immediately want to cancel you the moment that your views do not match theirs. So we're the polar opposite of what they are. And when you give money to someone whose political views don't line up to yours, in your mind you're going like, well, if we were having a face-to-face conversation, you would berate me and want to cancel me and destroy my livelihood and everything else because we don't believe the same, or we believe slightly differently. It's a shame. It's a shame with some of these people in their craft specifically. It's really difficult to find conservative leaning, or at least center right leaning artists. And by artists, I mean, in music and film and so on, or in TV. It's difficult to find nowadays.
Because I liked Dwayne Johnson. I liked him as
Hmm.
a wrestler because I grew up with him I shouldn't say growing up. I was in my 20s when he showed up on the wrestling scene. But I liked him.
As someone who has two younger brothers who watched wrestling, I remember The Rock when he first came out, when he was
And
Rocky Maivia.
yeah, and I'm like, I liked his
He was
father, I liked
always
his
likable.
grandfather,
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh, this is great. Followed his career through wrestling, loved his movies, and
Hmm.
then he opened up his political mouth, and I'm like,
And he
oh,
seems like a very likable, friendly, like a genuine person. They could be putting up a face, but at least they always came across as a genuine person. And then they, you know, in the I always have this saying. It's like I can tell you that I vote this way or that I support this thing, but you don't really know until you're actually standing there casting your ballot for whomever and whatever. So you can come out and say that you support this guy, but then when you're actually voting, you end up voting for this other guy because you like the other guy better, or because you believe that their policies and their ideas are going to be more beneficial or are more closely aligned to what you think is right. And by right, I don't mean political right. I mean, right, wrong, kind of right. You know, so you can say all you want, but I won't, your vote is your choice to make.
because
It's your secret.
here's the fun conspiracy theory that I thought of during the whole pandemic,
Mhm.
because during the whole political race and blah 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 during the
Mhm.
pandemic, a lot of artists couldn't tour, they couldn't do concerts, they couldn't do comedy clubs, they couldn't do film, they couldn't do TV shows. They were basically unemployed. And then a bunch of them started doing political commentary and political ads. You wonder how many took the check from that political party to voice those opinions, even
to
though
get
they
their
don't-
faces to get their faces out there. That is the only income that they had at the time, despite the fact that they have a
Millions
lot
of
of
dollars.
money.
You would think they have millions of dollars.
Yes. Yeah, but their lifestyles and the people that they pay to help them look good, to help them train, to help them eat well, and all of that stuff, that money keeps going away. So, of course, it would stand to reason that when one person shows up and says, "Hey, we're going to give you $2 million if you say that you like polka dots more than you like stripes."
And there you go.
I like polka dots. I don't think that stripes are a good look. Here's your check. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
It's every time an actor or a music, especially the music artists,
mm-hmm,
all of a sudden popped up and I support blah, blah, blah.
mm-hmm.
Like, you haven't toured in 6 months. You're probably not going to tour for another 6 to 10 months.
You want to know
Did
who
you get
was
paid
one?
off?
You want to know who's one that did that recently?
Oh, no.
Stacey. You remember Stacey Dash from Clueless?
No, never saw the movie.
You never saw the movie Clueless? She was in a couple of other movies too, but she was more known for playing. I forgot the name of the character on Clueless. She's an African American actress. She's a black actress, really pretty, but she was always really smart.
I know which
And
one you're
she
talking
was,
about.
yes.
Yep,
So she
very
was always
pretty.
on Fox News, and she was like conservative, Trump supported, so on and so forth. Can you believe that earlier this week she came out and she backtracked everything that she said during the last 4 years? I'm so sorry that I said all of these things that were so hurtful. I was in the wrong. I'm like, so you sold your values out because you want to be hired to do movies. That's basically what you did.
hmm
So you're not even going to stand by your convictions like other people have done.
I mean, I'll admit, when Bill Clinton ran the first time, I
Mhm.
backed Bill Clinton.
Mhm.
And then when Ross Perot ran against him the second time,
Mhm.
I backed Perot.
Mhm.
And I've steadily over the years gone more and more to the right. But
I my my personal
if I'm
philosophy is the older I get, the more libertarian I become, in the sense that I don't care what you do with your life. Don't take my money. Leave me alone. It's literally the don't tread on me philosophy. It's leave me alone. I'm going to go my way. You go your way. At some point, we're going to converge. Let's work together to solve a problem. And then after that problem is solved, you can go back to your corner. I'm going to go back to mine. Leave me alone. Don't take my shit. Take your hand out of my pocket. Leave me alone. That's it.
damn, we need a bell this week.
Yes.
God, we would have broke a couple bells this week.
Yes, we would
Damn.
have. But, I'm of the belief that your rights end when the rights of others begin. Is that how it goes? I don't like infringing on other people's rights, and I don't want people to infringe on mine.
Yeah, your rights don't.
I should be allowed to do as I please as long as it's within the law. And even
I'm not hurting
then that's a little murky, because there are some laws out there that make absolutely no sense.
We should do
And
a
you
whole
know
show on
it.
that.
And you know it, and I know it, that there are so many. Well, actually, Jamie and Lep had a show like that. I think it was this past weekend, about stupid laws.
You know what we didn't do?
Mm.
Oh, we did not do my Valentine's Day episode. The straight reading of 1980s and 90s rap songs.
That's right.
We could still do it. I still say we do it.
We should have like the classical music
Ooh.
while
or do we do
we're
bongos,
reading.
beatniks, the whole little snap, snap, snap. I can't snap. I can't snap.
You can't.
No, I have a birth defect. My one finger is too short and it won't do it.
Well, I can only do it with one hand because the other one, well, I'm missing part of my finger on the other hand, but I can kind of.
Wait. What do you mean you're missing part of your finger?
This is the extra content that all of you people are paying for. I had an accident when I was a child, at 3 years old. So you know that tag? Do you have a recliner in your house?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that big long tag that says, please watch your children?
Oh dear.
Yes. So that's what happened to me. So if you look at my fingers, that's my fingertips, right? So this here, that's actually my the top of my finger, and that's my nail growing over. So
Oh my God, I can't unsee that now.
basically like half of the tip of my finger is gone. So from where the nail grows here, so basically this part here from the top up. I know I'm not giving you the finger, I promise. I'm not doing that. But it's on my left hand, and most people don't notice because I'm right hand dominant.
I did not know that.
Fish learned something new about me, and so did you because you're still here. Why are you still here? Did you have laundry to do? Goodbye. Go do laundry.